progressives are very upset at a story that came into the news today about this woman who promised to make her boyfriend 300 sandwiches in return for a marriage proposal. So the woman in question here is Stephanie Smith. She actually writes for Page 6, and she also has a blog called 300sandwiches.com. And basically, she starts dating this guy. They're both foodies. They like to refer to one another as foodies. And he makes her this delicious gourmet meal on the second time that they go out or something. And so she knows that he really appreciates food, and one day she decides to make him a very simple turkey sandwich. And he loved that sandwich. It was so delicious that he said that if she continues making sandwiches for him, then maybe she'll be lucky enough to get a proposal from this stand-up guy. Now, my bias is showing already. Yeah. So I want to like tone it down because there are some facts that I want to give you guys about this story before we get too judgy. So I want to read you a little bit about what she's told the New York Post. Each morning he would ask, "Honey, how long have you been awake?" And I would say, about 15 minutes. "You've been up for 15 minutes and you haven't made me a sandwich?" Oh God, that just, so sexy. I can't handle it. All right. Yes. So he said, "Sandwiches are love, especially when you make them. You can't get a sandwich with love from the deli." So he also told her that. She replied with the following: "Maybe I needed to show him I could cook to prove that I am wife material. If he wanted 300 sandwiches, I'd give him 300 sandwiches, and I'd blog about it." So already I want to get a little bit of your thoughts on this.
Well, personally, I think that, you know, hey, it's your relationship. If that's what you guys have negotiated with each other, then that's fine. Although it does sound very old-fashioned, very, you know, traditional roles. And you know, if that works for you, that's fine, but it's really one-sided. It seems like he's getting all of the benefit, and I'm not sure exactly what she's going to get out of it, except maybe, possibly, if he's an honest guy who follows through on his promises, maybe he'll ask her to marry him, but geez, that just seems like a very interesting way to go running your relationship.
Jimmy, are you married?
I am married.
How many sandwiches did your wife have to make you before you gave her that, you know, that wedding proposal?
That's very sexist. I would never do something like that. What I do is we get up at, like, if I get up and she's already up, I'm like, "Honey, how long have you been awake?" She's only got 15 minutes. I'm like, "I know there's a load of laundry waiting to be done." That's what I do. It's a little different. If you just do 300 loads of laundry for me, actually, I will say this: the way to a man's heart through his stomach.
That's true.
And I'm telling you, something about having a woman make a meal for you that you enjoy, it makes me love her a little bit more. I know when it first happened to me, I was in my late 20s and I started dating this girl whose parents own an Italian deli in Chicago, and she would make the most masterful dishes, and it made me love her.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it works, but it really worked.
And I totally understand that. And by the way, before I give my commentary on this, I just want to say that I agree with Desi in the sense that if this is something that works for your relationship, who the hell are we to judge you guys? Do what you got to do. I mean, just because I don't like the way it works doesn't mean that I have to do it. It doesn't mean that you have to change anything. But I will say, I mean, I had like a knee-jerk negative reaction to this as well. Because,
so did I.
Because you read the comments, especially as someone who is a woman who reports the news, and then I get that constant feedback. You know, the trolls will always say like, "Why are you even talking? Bitch, go make me a sandwich." And then like, that always, you know, it doesn't bug me anymore because I'm so used to it, but just that notion that women are only good for those things bothers me. But I think that, yes, sometimes food is the way to a man's heart, but I think it's much better when a woman does it on her own.
Yes.
When she wants to do it because it's a kind thing to do.
It's very transactional, what they have going on. And again, I'm sure, you know, it started off as a good-natured joke, and it's something that they keep joking about, and so maybe it's turned into a thing, and now she's got a blog on it, so she's kind of got to follow through with it and all of that. But, you know, it's really transactional. If you do this for me, then I will grant you with a ring and marriage, and that is an odd way to go about getting married to somebody, because ideally, I think we're supposed to, you know, care and love and want to be with the person and, you know, grow old with them and take care of them in sickness and in health and all that good stuff, but yet that's not the defining part here.
I think it has a happy ending, this story, because at the end of the story, she talks about how it has actually brought them closer together, how she's understood his love for food. He doesn't just have wants her to make sandwiches, but he has a love for food. He enjoys shopping for the food. They go together. They shop together.
So it's a thing they share.
So, and she said that she feels less pressure about she's enjoying that part of it, and she feels less pressure about the 300 sandwiches. And so it's kind of just brought them together on a food thing. And I don't know. Don't you think that?
I want to know what he's doing as well. I mean, by the way, he might be the best boyfriend ever. This is very one-sided because that's the way the press is covering it.
Yes.
He might be the best boyfriend ever, and that's fine. But the way this is being presented makes it seem like, she's like it's labor or something. Like she's really working hard. Let me give you a few more quotes from her. She says, 10 sandwiches or so in, I did the math. 3 sandwiches a week times 4 weeks a month times 12 months a year meant I wouldn't be done until I was deep in my 30s. And then she started panicking about that because she's like, well, I mean, I want to have kids, and this is cutting it close. Why are you with this guy? If he's saying that you have to make him 300 sandwiches, that's insane. She continues, how would I finish 300 sandwiches in time for us to get engaged, married, and have babies before I exited my childbearing years? Even after covering movie premieres or concerts for Page Six, I found myself stumbling into the kitchen to make Eric a sandwich while I still had my high heels and party dress.
Motivated.
That sounds so sexy. I couldn't be able to contain myself.
Well, it does seem the opposite of sexy when she's making the sandwiches only to fulfill his wish so she'll get engaged. That takes the sexiness out of it. You're right. She has to do it on her own. She has to want to do it. And I mean, if I woke up in the morning and I told my wife, "You have 15 minutes. You haven't made a sandwich yet," she would tell me, "Go fuck yourself." Are you kidding? So
you've already proposed. You guys have been together, and that's another thing. You think she's gonna be making you sandwiches after you've been married for 10 years? I don't know.
This woman could. I think she's playing it up. I think she's playing because she
exaggerating.
Yeah, I think she's exaggerating because it sounded like at the beginning of the story that this guy's a super guy. He went out and made her a tuna tartare on a tomato compote.
He's a chef.
He's a chef. Okay, so let's hear from her in the next few videos. So she's on the Today Show, and she kind of responds to some of the criticism that she and her, I don't know, soon-to-be fiance are getting. Let's take a look.
Are you really making sandwiches in pursuit of an engagement ring?
Well, yes. I mean, that was the goal, 300 sandwiches, right? But what I've learned is that the journey is actually more important. And with every sandwich, we learn a little bit about each other, we have more fun, and we have a lot of great meals.
This young lady is setting feminism back. She's becoming a Stepford wife. She's doing what this guy wants to try to get a ring, and she shouldn't be doing that. How do you react?
Well, first of all, he does most of the cooking in our house. And second, if he wasn't the kind of guy that was worth one sandwich, I wouldn't be making 300 sandwiches. And plus, it was a joke. It was light, it's funny, come on, it's a sandwich. It's supposed to be, just lighthearted.
And the answer to the first question was, yeah, I am making sandwiches because I want a proposal. And then later on, she's like, oh, it's a joke, please.
Well, what if he doesn't follow through? I mean, I know he'll feel compelled to, but there's no obviously
I hope he doesn't follow through. And
really?
and I hope she freaking dates a hot-ass Latin dude who, takes her salsa dancing and makes her super
sandwiches.
Happy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's watch the next video.
Most importantly, do you have a favorite of the 176 so far?
Oh, yeah, definitely. The prime rib was my absolute favorite.
Is that this one here?
Yes,
on the large baguette?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, do you make suggestions, or is it just, I'll take whatever sandwich comes my way?
It's a very collaborative process. Usually I leave work, or whoever leaves work first says, okay, we'll go to the grocery store and see what's fresh. So
Oh, was that a banana sandwich?
That was a banana.
That looked really good. I'm not going to lie.
That looked really gross to me.
Banana and chocolate, maybe.
And then one final video. Let's take a look at what he had to say about what happens after the 300 sandwiches.
Now here's the real question. Are you going to step up to the plate, Eric, so to speak? When she gets to sandwich 300, is there going to be a ring in your hand, and are you going down on one knee?
In the sandwich.
Of course.
Yes?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Are you going to actually make her get to 300? Or, don't you think she's demonstrated some commitment here with 175?
I would have married her without one sandwich.
Oh.
So wait.
Come on.
After all that.
Right, exactly. So he's not an asshole. Isn't that nice? He's nice.
Except
One
he
last
still
quote,
hasn't done it, though.
One last quote, though. He says the following. You women read all these magazines to get advice on how to keep a man, and it's so easy. We're not complex. Just do something nice for us, like make a sandwich.
He's got a point. He's got a point. But I think it goes both ways, Do something nice for the woman, too. It doesn't take much to make I tell people to send flowers to a girl when she doesn't expect it. That's when it really gets the underwear falling. The point is, it's when there's no reason to send something or do something nice, right? That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
Well, and so far, I would say he's willing to marry her, he says, without the sandwiches, and yet he hasn't done it.
But he hasn't.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So
Matt Lauer fell down on the job there. He should have put it right back in his face.
A follow-up question, Matt Lauer. Come on, follow
Well, how
up.
come you haven't? You made 176. You said you do without one. Let's do it.